Any other questions?
That's it.
Okay. Councilman Council?
Oh, yeah, good afternoon. Just want to first talk about the 18 vacancies and what are you doing to fill those 18 vacancies? And these 66 provisional employees, which is exhaustive. Um, and how many CSS workers do we have that are working in the department currently? And what is the plan to build recycling organization into the division of recycling? Because you brought recycling in-house. And so I didn't see it anywhere in the budget of where you're going to put that under. I don't think that you would, if that's a different division, right, put it under sanitation. Or if you're going to put it under sanitation, then the cost analysis of what needs to be broken down should have been blended into those dollars amounts about the number of people, the organizational chart of what recycling looks like, who's the supervisor of recycling, how many people are a part of it. So just that as a note, and then your tree the not your tree contract, but the trimming of trees, the dollars amounts that you have in that line that really needs to be increased. Because outside of what you do in terms of tree removal, stump and tree removal, there has to be a season where you go back and you cut and trim the trees back, right? And there is no contract, there's no dollar amount that is adequate enough that has been put into that line for tree services, right? For example, on Pomona, if you're going straight down Bergen, there's been a tree that's been hanging over the sign on Pomona Avenue for years. And so that tree has never been cut back. We just had to, get folks to cut those trees back from all of the stop signs along Madison Avenue. And so in that tree line, there needs to be an exhaustive amount. I'm not going to be the one to forecast what is in there, but clerk, I would love to see an increase in the amount of dollars put aside for tree trimming of the trees, the city trees, and then a plan to put together for these 66 provisional employees that may want an opportunity to be permanent in the city.
So we have in total 18 vacancies. And our goal is to reward temporary employees for good performance by offering permanent jobs. We currently evaluating the temporary employees to determine the minimum of number of employees needed.
We need 1 in motors, 6 in parks and grounds, 4 in public buildings, and 6 in sanitation.
Right.
So you really don't have to break down where you need them at. You know where you need them. The question is, how do you get them there?
So most of our attempts right. No, but the question from the councilman is how did we get them there too? Rephrase your question, Councilman.
Right. We have 18 vacancies.
Right.
Right. You have 1 in the director's office. You have 1 in motors. You have 6 in parks and grounds, 4 in public buildings, 6 in sanitation. How do we fill those vacancies? The director indicated that he has a pool of CSS workers that he's looking at and figuring out if they're competent and capable enough to fill these positions. How many CSS workers are housed in sanitation at this moment? What is the number?
The total number of CSS workers is 145.
145 people. So out of 145 people, you're having difficulty finding 18 people.
Well, so we examine, we look at what the vacancies are, right?
The vacancies are 1 in motors, 6 in parks and grounds, 4 in public buildings, and 6 in sanitation. Sanitation is garbage removal. Public buildings is where the manager, Mr. Farrell, just came up, taking care of all of the public buildings around the city, assessing and doing those individuals. Parks and grounds is maintenance in our parks and grounds and facilities. Motors is either a mechanic or someone working down in our motors department, and whatever the vacancy that's in your department that you need. Again,
Right.
145 people, 18 vacancies. When you gonna fill them?
So this is Walford and a senior analyst there in DPW, and we've done some analytical work here regarding our vacancies. In the director's office, we have 1 vacancy. We've attempted to fill that vacancy early in the year, but we did have some challenges in filling that vacancy. Currently, it is somewhat our understanding that there could be a freeze regarding those. So
What is the position in the director's office?
this is for his
Executive
assistant, the assistant for the director.
And you just said we had a freeze.
Well, those are some, then we put through the actual application. That was the comment we got back on that. So we tried to fill that vacancy early in the year.
You said that somebody told you we had a freeze.
Correct.
So we have a freeze on hiring.
Correct.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So should we go down the list here?
No, we have a freeze on hiring. There's no need to go down the list. The provisional list, the 66 people that you have on that provisional list that probably will want to become permanent, what is your position and how are you working to ensure with HR that these individuals go through the proper steps for civil service to become permanent workers?
This is Warford Ennis. This is ongoing vacancies and ongoing provisional employees.
You talk about vacancies. I'm talking about provisional workers. They're already in place,
Correct.
right? And also a provisional worker can also be labeled as what?
Provisional.
What is another name that a provisional employee can be? An employee at will.
Correct.
Correct. Is that correct?
Not sure what the term used, but I think so. I believe so.
So you may have a provisional worker that's been working for 3 years or 4 years, correct?
Correct.
Would
But
you,
as you
if
know,
you were working for 3 to 4 years as a provisional worker and you were still considered to be labeled as an employee at will, meaning someone can let you go for just cause, would you still want to be a provisional worker or you want to be a permanent worker with civil service rights? Yes, that's correct.
well, of course,
Right.
that is the objective here, Madam Chair and members of council. That's the objective for us to try to move our provisional employees into a permanent position.